You know what? Hell yeah. I didn't expect this to be the first Washington Commanders all season move. I'm not going to lie, but I'm all for it. Washington Commanders lock up Andrew Wylie for another 2 years. Let's talk about it.
Shout out to Juan Gotti talking sports. You know what it is.
Shout out Wall Gotti talking sports.
The way that we live is not for everybody, man.
I always say it's not how they line up, it's how they wind up.
YouTube, what's going on? It's your man Juan Gotti here. We on the Washington Commanders live stream. And in today's live stream, we got some breaking news coming out of Washington. So the Washington Commanders have extended tackle Andrew Wylie to a 2-year contract extension. Let's go ahead and get that going for my guy. That is a major move, if you wanted me to be completely honest with you. Given the fact that Andrew Wylie was so bad the first year that he was here under Eric Bieniemy, you couldn't have me to think he would have eventually became a key piece of this offensive line in terms of potential starter, if need be. But most importantly, we are shoring up this depth. This man means so much to this offensive line. He can play both tackle spots. I think he can even go into guard, of course, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like he played a little bit of center too. I could be off the mark with that one, but I felt like he played a little bit of center as well. But expect this to be a big offseason for the Washington Commanders in terms of offensive line, right? Because this is honestly probably the cheapest deal we're going to do, if we're being honest. So Washington and offensive line Andrew Wylie have agreed to a 2-year contract extension worth up to $7.5 million with the upside of $10.5 million. Wylie was set to hit free agency. Now he's locked in as backup or possible starter. And I say that to say you still got Laremy Tunsil that we're going to most likely take care of. He's one of the best left tackles in the league. He's obviously our best offensive lineman. We haven't had that kind of swagger, that kind of player at the left tackle position since Trent Williams. So I'm sure we're going to take care of Laremy Tunsil, but also Chris Paul. That's another one that I think a lot of people have to understand that they may take care of. Now, he isn't a guarantee how Laremy Tunsil is, and you can even say Andrew Wylie is prior to him getting this extension, because Andrew Wylie, at least he's been here for years. And Andrew Wylie originally started out here as a guard on the EB, and he was bad. He was bad. Or maybe, I think, was it the tackle? I think he started out as the right tackle, and he was just bad on the EB. Then we got new coaching, and he carved himself out a role. Again, able to start, able to go in and be a backup as well. He's kind of like the new Cornelius Lucas in a sense. Or even for some older fans who remembers Ty Secchi. I remember Ty Secchi. He can be that Swiss Army knife on the offensive line. But I fully expect them to get Laremy Tunsil's deal done. I fully expect them to get Chris Paul's deal done, because he was stellar. He was stellar. In fact, we can look at the metrics on Twitter when it comes to the top guards in the league last year, and Chris Paul was one of the top ones. So I definitely feel like he should be back. Again, it's not a guarantee that it's going to happen. However, I fully expect it to. Again, Andrew Wylie, he's done a lot for this offensive line. You look at this next picture right here. A source that's just confirmed that the Washington Commanders offensive line, Andrew Wylie, have signed a new 2-year contract extension. Let's see what they're talking about on X, on Twitter about this. But he's been one of the better and more stellar guards in the league as of late, in terms of, or tackles rather, in terms of depth, in terms of potentially even starting as well. So let's go ahead and look at some of the reports if there's anything. Notable quarterback and offensive coordinator. That's something different. Let's see if John Kahn put anything out about this deal. The Commanders have signed Andrew Wylie to a 2-year contract. Sources confirm Wylie became a valuable backup slash spot starter this season, helping the offensive line depth made it very, very clear. Now, again, I will say this to be very short and very clear. This is solely for depth purposes. Obviously, we envision the starting five offensive line to be Tyler Biotish, Andrew, or excuse me, uh, Sam Cosme, and Josh Connolly, and then the left side is Laremy Tunsil, question mark, right? Whether it's Chris Paul, who I would think would be back, again, not too sure. That's not to be confirmed at the current state. But I kind of expect him to be back. Maybe Brandon Coleman, maybe they draft somebody, maybe they go on free agency and get a new starting left tackle, left guard. But at this current moment, that's how I envision it to be. But we'll see exactly what they do. But yeah, he's been a key piece for this offensive line over the last couple of seasons. So we'll see. Um, Lord says, Juan, what's up? What about Tonsil, man? What's up, Juan? What's up? What's up? Laramie Tonsil, I believe is going to get his deal done. I really do. Um, I definitely think he's gonna get his deal done. I just think it's gonna take a little bit more time. We know Laramie, he represents himself. He doesn't have an agent, so that's gonna be a little bit different in itself. And then also Laramie Tunsil is a guy that is going to command a lot of money, right? This is somewhat of chump change, if you want to be honest. When it comes to deals, this is kind of chump change. $7.5 million, $10.5 million for Andrew Wylie. But yeah, we'll see exactly how this pans out. But I think they're going to get Larry Thompson's deal done. AP's getting the easy stuff out the way. Yeah, that's the first thing that I wanted them to do. I wanted them to take care of our own. That's the first thing that you got to do when it comes to free agency. A lot of people want to just jump the gun. A lot of people want to talk about what we need to go out and get, what we need to go out and get in free agency. But you got to take care of your guys. And I know on the outside looking in, it's like a lot of people who don't really seem like they should be returning back to the Burgundy and Gold. But I beg to differ. I think Andrew Wylie was one. I think Chris Paul is one. I think Marcus Mariota is one that needs to come back as well. So there's some guys on this roster besides the fact that we did finish 5-12 last year that deserves to come back to this team next year. So we'll see who else they decide to bring. Ebony says, "Hi, what's up, Ebony? How you doing?" And Daniel Burry says, "Happy Monday. What's up, everyone? What's up? What's up? What's up?" But yeah, that's that. This is a good move. And yeah, let's see if there's anything else to really see. Any comments? What's up? What's up, John? What's up, John? What's up? What's up? But yeah, it's weird. Let me try to pull up this Twitter thing. We can look at the top guards very quick. Go to Daniel Rodman. Can I send this to myself? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to do this the right way, very quick. Can I let me do it like that? All right, boom. And then we go to. I had a passcode on this junk. Give me 1 second. I ain't even know I had a passcode on here. Okay, so I want to show you guys this thing right here. I don't know why it's huge like this. Give me 1 second. Yeah, let me go. Okay, so I want y'all to take a look at this right here. So this is according to Daniel Rodman on Twitter about the left tackle pressures last year. When you take a look at it, what's going on with this? Give me a second. Um, when you take a look at these pressures right here from last year, at tackle position, um, Laramie Tunsil is number three. Not Laramie Tunsil. Let me say that again. Laramie Tunsil is number three when it comes to pressures. So when you talk about one of the best tackles in the league, when you talk about one of the best in the game and who deserves to get a contract extension, it's definitely Laramie Tunsil for sure. Um, so I'm not too worried about him. Let's see if Andrew Wylie's on this list at all. Probably not because these are just the starters. Josh Connolly is on this list and he is at let's see what Josh Connolly's at. Josh Connolly was at like, is this just left tackles? Yeah, this is just left tackles. Let me get right tackles right quick. Um, Let me go to the. So this is left guard. Let's look at left guard right quick before you even take a look at the other ones. So Andrew, look who's at 5. So you got Laramie Tunsil at 3 for pressure rate. And this is like, it is obviously 1 is the best, and so on. 32 is the worst. Chris Paul's at 5. So you got your left tackle who is at 2 or 3, I think. And then you got your left guard at 5. 3.18% of pressure rate. Now, again, I'm not telling you Chris Paul is perfect. I'm not telling you Chris Paul um, is the best, but he did a damn good job last year. Damn good job last year. And then you look at the right guard. Right guard is Sam Cosme at 5. So that's 3 of 5 of your offensive linemen, and they're at their specific position, top 5 in pressure rate. That's stellar if you ask me. And I told you all that I felt like the one position group on this team that you can go ahead and count in as one of the best and probably the best on the offensive side of the ball is the offensive line. 3 out of 5 of your starting players are top 5. And then in pressure rates at least. And let's see if we can find the other side of the ball right quick. And let's see if we can go to the right tackles. Because right tackle, this is the one that's a little bit concerning. Is Josh Connolly being at 26. So he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7th worst right tackle in terms of pressure rates last year. Pressure's given up. But again, he's a rookie, and we remember his gauntlet at the start of the year. It was Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter, and it was Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gurry, all those guys, and then it was Max Crosby, and then it was Jalen Johnson, and the rookie, the other rookie pass rusher in Atlanta, right? Then week 5, we luckily, I think Khalil Mack didn't play in that game. I think he broke his elbow the week before. So we got lucky with him. But then week 6, I think it was Montez Sweat. So he kind of had a tough rookie season. I'm not making excuses for him, but 26 or 26 for his first season. It's a little rough, but it is what it is, right? But again, even still, that's 3 out of 5 of your offensive linemen that are really, really good. I think Josh Connolly has a really good chance to be good. I think this year, another year under his belt, he gets tutelage from a guy like Laramie, Sam Cosme, who he's right next to. Like, come on, man. And then this is the center right here. And Tyler Biotis is at 23. So if there was a weakness on this team and on this position group, it probably would be Tyler Biotis, right? It probably would be him. I know a lot of people have already talked about what if Washington was to sign a Tyler Lindenbaum. Because I was making the case that, I wouldn't mind them getting Tyler Lindenbaum, but I feel like you use free agency more so for needs, and we have other pressing needs. Like, am I saying Tyler Biotis is the end all be all? He's perfect? No, not any means. I'm not telling you that one bit. But what I'm saying is, should we spend big money at center when we have a quality center? Yeah, he took a step back. He was not as badass as he was in year one of his Washington tenure. But I think you can survive with him another season. This is the final year of his deal. So even if he isn't good again next year, now you can wipe your hands clean, right? But you signed him to a 3-year deal. First year was really stellar. Second year, not so good. And then year three, um, we'll see this year. But everybody wants to sign Tyler Lindenbaum, and although this isn't the end all be all in terms of how good a center is, Tyler Lindenbaum is at 31. 31 in terms of giving up a lot of pressure rates. For reference, the number one center in the league in terms of this stat, and probably the best center in the league overall, is Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey gave just 1.08 pressures throughout the whole season last year. Patrick Mahomes, you can't say Patrick Mahomes got hurt because of him, because of pressure up the middle. Because you weren't getting much pressure up the middle on Creed Humphrey, on Patrick Mahomes. That's 1.08. Tyler Linderbaum is at 31. That's 4 it looks like 55%. That's a three whole number difference. So again, I ask you, yeah, Tyler Biotis maybe took a step back compared to what he did in year one, but are you sure that it's to the point where you're wanting to spend money at the center position? I don't think so. I think they're going to rock out with him one final year, and I think with the offensive scheme and new offensive line coach, that is going to better fit what this team wants to do. Not that Bobby Johnson was bad, but they want to go to more of a zone running scheme, things like that. So I think he kind of gives me that vibe, a center that's going to get out in space quick, undersized. He doesn't strike me as a mauler, right? He doesn't strike me as a guy that's just going to out muscle a defensive tackle, but screens, toss plays, being a lead block, pulling, things of that nature. That's what Tyler Biotis does well, in my opinion. And I think that's what we're going to be headed towards with this I form look under center more, with Bill and C-Rod and potentially C-Rod, and obviously potentially a new running back as well, another running back that we may add in free agency or the draft. So Tyler Biotis, I think, is going to be due for a better season, I should say. But let's go and get to some of the comments here, and then we'll get out of here. I don't have much time today, unfortunately. But yeah, let's go ahead and read some of the comments. Commander DeLorean says AP needs to get all these deals done early so nobody misses any OTA time. With our new coordinators and new system, holdouts will be a disaster for us this year. No slow starts to the offseason. I completely agree with you, Commander DeLorean. I think if the Washington Commanders don't get out in front of some of these guys that they want to pay, it could hinder them just like last year. And I don't expect them to make the same mistake that they did last year with a guy like Terry McLaurin. I think they learned their lesson. I think they're going to move swiftly. I think they're going to move smart. I think they're going to move with a sense of urgency and purpose, because they don't want that to happen. But even as you mentioned, like this isn't the same unit. Right? This is a guy. Even although Dan Quinn is still here, this is new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new offensive line coach, new defensive line. It's a lot new. So you're right. Like these guys cannot afford to miss time. And I think you're probably speaking more towards like the Laramie Tonsil deal, because the Laramie Tonsil deal is the one that could probably be a little bit slippery and a little bit, disconnect in terms of the money. But I'm with you, right? If you know you want Chris Paul back, get on top of it, right? If you know you want Marcus Mariota back, get on top of it. I like how they got out in front with the Andrew Wylie one, because you don't know what would have happened had he hit free agency. But I love this. I love it. So I'm right there with you. Nelson, Dillard, Nelson Dillard, Super Bowl indoor stadium at RFK site. Hey, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. Hopefully, it happens in a couple of seasons, or hopefully, it happens the first inaugural season of RFK. Let's hope it does that. Um, Ebony says I'm good. That's good. That's good to hear. I'm glad you are doing well, man. I'm glad you are doing well. Let's see if there's any other comments. If not, we'll get up out of here. Again, I don't have that much time today, but I definitely wanted to come on here and break the news that the Washington Commanders have extended right tackle Andrew Wylie. A good move, I think, personally, as it allows Washington to they released Antonio Gibson. Wow. The Patriots are releasing Antonio Gibson. Now, this isn't as shocking as it would have been had he not tore his ACL and had Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson not been, their future or really stellar 1-2 punch. It always was interesting that they did have a super loaded backfield, given the fact that they had 3 quality backs and they drafted obviously Travion Henderson. So it wasn't a surprise that this happened because I always questioned how impactful could he have been. But once he tore his ACL, I felt like that was kind of like the death sentence to him potentially being released. But we'll see how he's recovering from a torn ACL because I'm not going to sit up here and act like Antonio Gibson is trash, right? We still remember what he did, even though he could be a far cry from his 2020 year, but he's still a quality guy. But Adam Peters is set to speak at noon on Tuesday, and my flight to Indy is about to take off. So I expect a bunch of news in the next 2 hours. Okay, so there's gonna be a bunch of news, apparently per JP Finley. But yeah, I wanted to come on here just to drop that nugget. Andrew Wylie taking care of a big piece of this offensive line in terms of depth, and maybe even having to start at some point. Good point, Commander DeLorean as well. Kyle Pitts got franchise tagged in Atlanta, and if we're being honest, I was never like super high on him in terms of wanting us to get him. Had we got him, I'd have been fine with it. Okay, cool. It is what it is. But I'm more of a guy that is a, dare I say, Isaiah Likely guy. That's who I want us to draft, to be honest with you. That is my guy. My guy is Isaiah Likely. Who are the defensive free agents you need us to get to fit our new defensive system? The first one I honestly am interested in is probably going to be Reek Willing or Josh Jobs. I want us to that's if we don't take like a massive delay in April at the draft at 7. Go check out that video I made earlier. I would like Josh Jobs, or I would like for us to go out and get Reek Willing. There's some quality pass rushes that I wouldn't mind us getting, like a Dafe Owe if he is made available. I don't know if LA is willing to let him go, right? I wouldn't mind a Nashon, right? Because he does force a lot of turnovers. I'm not telling you he's a guy that is a shutdown cornerback, but he forces a lot of turnovers. And if what they say is true, how if there is a weak link that you can get away with this defensive system that we assume Durante Jones is going to run, that's cornerback. You don't need the best corners. I'm not telling you to cut corners, get the best corners if possible, but Nashon Wright is one that's interesting to me. But I haven't necessarily dove honestly all into the defensive pieces myself. I did do a show on Wednesday with the Burgundy Breakdown where we talked about it. So go check that out. I'm not a big Jalen Phillips guy at all. I don't even think Philly's gonna allow in their free agency, but I'm not a big Jalen Phillips guy. Trey Hendrickson is interesting, but I would prefer us to go into a different route if we was to go veteran. But I'll definitely make a defensive free agent video for you all later. But that being said, let me go ahead and get this last comment. Tunsil's contract extension should be next, I hope. Yeah, that should be coming very soon. And that is probably going to be the massive one. Not probably, that will be the massive one in terms of the guys that we're retaining. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. I love each and every one of y'all. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 12,000 subscribers. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 12K. And again, Andrew Wylie is now re-signed and extended for 2 more years. I'll catch y'all later. As always, me boy Juan Gotti. I'm out. Hey.